Hi, this is Damien Foley, and this is my MBA journey at the Melbourne Business School. And I'm just going to do a week 5 debrief, which is basically about exams, assignments, and a little bit about relationships as well. So, just to do a bit of a recap, I done my last video was on I think it was Monday night, so I dropped that there this morning. Since then, I've actually sat my data analysis midterm exam, which was on Thursday night. It was a midterm exam, multiple choice, 20 questions, an hour and a half, and essentially I bombed that exam. So didn't come out of it confident at all. I probably got maybe the first 4 giveaway questions correct, and then the rest were pretty bad. So yes, I've got no one else to blame except myself. Obviously, didn't obviously put enough study into that for that data analysis exam itself. So yes, so it's worth 20% of my mark, 20 questions. So I'll see how I go. It just means I now need to make sure that I concentrate more on putting more effort and time into data analysis for study. Yes, that's where probably you've seen for the last video with Tony Scattergood. We said we didn't want to talk about it. That's the reason why it was not a pleasant experience to come out of it knowing that it essentially I probably failed. I didn't pass that exam. So yes, there were other people who also felt that not good about that exam as well, that midterm. So yes. We're in the middle of doing our Managing People midterm assignment, which is a presentation. We had a meeting with the syndicate team on Saturday morning. That went really well. The 3 of our team are going to be doing that presentation. It's an 8-minute presentation. And the approach that we're going to take for that delivery of that presentation is going to be really good. I think hopefully that it will be very well received. I'm very confident in my team members who are delivering that, syndicate members, and it truly has been a group effort. We've definitely relied on each other's strengths and capitalised on that in putting it all together. So yes, I'm going to be very happy with the outcome of that. We actually lodged that tonight. Actually, it's 11:04 p.m. So we would have already lodged that by now. So the presentation to be delivered on Tuesday night. So that's went well. I'm happy with that. Social. I also went to an event on Friday night here at Melbourne Business School. It was a social impact presentation that was set up for and delivered, created by the Net Impact Club here at the Melbourne Business School. That was really good. I spoke with a couple of the speakers. Glen, who is a founder here of sustainability, chairperson here at Melbourne Business School. Spoke with him, and he's very aware of the Murra program here at the Melbourne Business School and his involvement with that. So I had a chat with him around that and the social impact around Indigenous procurement. So very positive things around that. Also spoke with Emily Jenkins, who was another presenter. So her work is with EY in their social impact team. So it was great to have a conversation with her around that and what she does and her involvement and what they actually do and what she's doing moving forward. It's some really great stuff there. So it's really great. We actually spoke and left after the presentation. We had networking drinks, and then went around to a couple of us went around to the Prince Alfred hotel, where we finished up there at 12 a.m. at closing time on that Friday night. So I think I had all I had was a pint of beer. So I'm not a big drinker. So, but it was good. I was also talking with some other full-time students there, full-time MBA students, and getting their input into what they're doing, as well as Emily herself. She's just finished off her part-time MBA as well, just about to finish it off, or just graduated a couple of weeks ago. So it was great to get their input from that side, both a full-time and a completed full-time student. So it was really good. I actually went on a date on Saturday night, last night. It's probably, I think, the first date that I've had since I've actually been going to the Melbourne Business School here. To be honest, after failing and not doing well in the data analysis midterm exam, I actually, even though I sent the message on Saturday morning asking if they were still wanting to meet up, I was hoping that they would reply no, because I actually wanted to come back and do more study here on Saturday night. But in saying that, I also know that I need to go out and expand my social circle. So, yes, I also made it very clear as part of that I don't have a lot of time. That my ability to date is pretty much very restricted, to the point where almost it's only going to be, say, Saturday nights or a Sunday morning for a brunch to catch up, because the rest of my week is pretty much taken up with work or with study. So yes, so I had to make that clear. And probably on that subject of relationships, I have spoken with other students around that. Some have told me that there is apparently a study that went around that, I don't know how true this is. Maybe it's a bit of a urban legend that there is a bit of a high failure in relationships with students who actually do the MBA, because it is such a massive commitment of time to actually do this, whether you're a full-time or a part-time. Talking with part-time versus full-time students, I was talking to the full-time students on the Friday night, talking about how much time that I spend around both work and study, and the person that I was speaking to said, "I can't believe you have to do that much." So they personally wouldn't do it. The full-time is apparently a lot easier in terms of the commitment level, in terms of time, because they've given. In saying that, that's just the level that I give, which is I really give myself a break Sunday morning and maybe on Saturday night, Saturday evening. So yes, but in saying that, it was actually confirmed by Emily. She said, yeah, there is if she had the opportunity to either do full-time or part-time, she would definitely do the full-time. It's probably a bit easier, given the time commitment required for both work and study around doing the part-time. So yes, it's interesting. So in that regard, the urban myth, or I don't know whether a study's actually been done, is apparently there's a lot of relationships that do break up as a result of the people who are doing the MBA, because of the time commitment required. So anyone that's out there looking to do the MBA, you do need to talk with your significant other, your partner, or if you don't have somebody or looking to go into a relationship, you need to make it known to them at the very start. And that's what I did on this particular date. I made it known to them right up front that this is my time availability. And on that basis, they turned around and said, "Well, I didn't realize it was that much more. Maybe we can just be friends." And I went, "Fine, no worries." So I was very clear up front about what that was. I don't want there to be any misgivings around that. So yes, no future indications of whether anything will happen out of that. So yes, but I was very upfront about it. But yeah, relationships when it comes to doing the MBA. If you're doing it or going to do it, let the person you know doing it. And yeah, I actually had a conversation with somebody today around that, but I'll get to that. So so Saturday is, I came to university and had the managing people with my syndicate to get that sorted out for the midterm exam, then had the date last night, and then this morning I was able to sleep in, take a breath, take a break. Went and had brunch at Mr. Tolk's, which is just down my local cafe, for brunch, and I then also did the video edit for a video that I dropped on. I dropped it today, but I actually did the video back on Monday. So if you see a video on there from I think it's 20191021, that is actually what I done on Monday, and I had, for whatever reason, the video wasn't allowing me to do a video edit with all the information text boxes, so I just had to drop the raw video itself onto YouTube and go with it. So I done that in Mr. Tolk's while I was there waiting for my brunch to arrive, the Titanic breakfast. So, and a couple of cups of latte, mugs of latte. I then went and bought some shirts, bought some more business shirts. Also went and collected my new suits, the new blue suits. And while I was there, also bought some new brown boots to go with them, to go with the suit. So, yes, the thing about that is it all took me, and then I went and did some actual grocery shopping. So I actually got food that I need to cook up and prepare for the rest of this week, rather than buying microwave dinners of lean cuisines. So actual solid food. So I had that, and yeah, that took me till about 4 o'clock or 5 o'clock in the afternoon this evening. So it actually took up a lot of my time. I was actually, while doing all this, it made me think about how valuable my time is, because I'm running around DFO trying to find shirts that I like that would actually match my new suit, the new blue suit. Who thought it'd be so hard to find a plain white business shirt these days? Apparently, it's very hard. So it's very difficult. Yeah, so it took me forever to actually find the ones that I was happy with. So I actually made me think about how much I valued my time. I actually had a former manager, Anne Murray, actually, when I was working in Newcastle. And she once asked me, Damien, how much do you value your time? And I'd finished uni, I was working, and I didn't really have much other. I was doing the CA at the time, the Chartered Accountants program, and she asked me, how much do you value your time? And at the time, I didn't really have much to think about it. The only thing I had to compare as far as valuing my time was when I was working in an accounting firm, and we actually had billable hours based upon what our charge rate was. That's the only reference I had to what the value of my time was. And I never really thought about it, and I've never had a reason to think about it other than that in that context, how much you charge somebody for your time. In this context, time is the most valuable commodity that you have when you're doing the MBA, because when I'm not work, I'm studying, and that little time that I'm not studying, I need to recharge for, apart from sleep. I'm using that to maybe get in a little bit of social time, and that social time is important, but at the same time I'm thinking, for example, when I was on the date, I was thinking, well, I could be spending that time actually studying rather than being on the date. So I was thinking, if running around today, it took me a couple of hours to spend going and buying business shirts. I need business shirts, but I was thinking to myself, like, do I really need to be running around? And the same thing when I bought the shoes, with the boots. It was probably easier for me to just buy the $200 pair of boots rather than trying to find a pair that was $150, because the time it would take me for another hour for $50. That hour is more valuable to me studying than the $50. It's just a lot more convenient. That's now I value my time. Now I don't get paid necessarily $50 an hour, I can tell you that much, and it's far from it. So yes, that's but I do place a value on my time now more than ever. Time is very much a commodity, and it's a very rare commodity because there is only so much of it in the day, in the week. So I need to value it accordingly to invest my time into study. And after failing the data analysis, or I believe that I've failed the data analysis midterm exam, I need to not just with my studies spend my time studying. I need to readjust and refocus how much time I allocate to each subject, and also where do I focus my study, and where should I put in the most of my effort. So I need to rethink all this now, because it will impact the outcome, which, while no, the grade isn't what we're necessarily after, it is important because I need to get a 70 point average to go on and do the actual masters. At the moment, I'm only doing the diploma, graduate diploma, and I need to get at least a 70 average to go on to actually do the Masters of Business Administration itself. So that's why as much as the application and the experience and knowledge is important, the grade is important if I want to continue to do it. So equal value. So I need to refocus and readjust my allocation of time around study, what areas what subjects I'm studying, and what my focus of study should be on in those subjects. So very important. Yeah, on top of all that, I also had on Wednesday night, while I'm studying for my data analysis midterm, I received a text message while I was here at Melbourne Business School at about 7:30 in the evening, and it was a text message from my housemate who I actually sublet from. He's on the lease for the apartment where I am, and so when I first moved in with him, he said that the lease was up until the 27th of January, which was fine. That was plenty of time for me to reassess where I was going and what I was doing. Then a week after I moved in, he turned around and said, I'm going to move back to where he comes from, country Victoria. Will you take over the lease? You'll take over the lease, won't you? And after I'd already been in the apartment and seen what the condition of the apartment was, I said, no. I'm not going to put out all the money and take over the lease, given that I'm not aware of what the condition of the place was when you entered, and the condition of the place is not great at the moment. So it's livable, but there's some things there that are not great. So there'd be a cost attached if they weren't there. Those issues weren't there when he moved in, but were after as a result of him being in there. So I turned around and said no. Anyway, he sent me that message on Wednesday night saying that he is looking to relocate back to country Victoria. He's moving out, and he gave me 2 weeks' notice to move out. So now I have on top of this the added thing to consider and to have on my mind, having to find a new place to live. So look, the worst comes to worst, what I'll do is I've got some extra stuff that I had brought down. I'll put that into storage, and the other stuff I'll do when I originally came to Melbourne. I'll do what I did there, which was Airbnb, have a suitcase and my carry-on luggage, and I'll use that for a few weeks or a month while I'm looking for a new place. The benefit is I'm coming up to the end of university for exams. So in the next few weeks, there's going to be a lot of university students who are moving out. That's going to increase supply, and there's going to be reduced demand. So that might improve my chances of getting another place and at a good price. It's a good price where I am in a great location. So I'll see how I go. But just another thing to consider. Okay, that's it. Nothing really as far as work this week. Just in the process of working with on a project with external with our other external partners on a project. So probably most of my time has been involved with that, if anything else, while organising some other business reviews. So yes, that's where my focus has been basically this week for work. So, yes. Okay, guys, that's me. This is Damien Foley. You can follow me on YouTube at Damien Foley. You can follow me on my website at www.damienfoley.com/MBA. On LinkedIn, it's Damien Foley 1. On Instagram, on Facebook, it's Damien Foley Official, and on Instagram it's DG Foley. Okay, guys, I'm signing out. It's 11:23, and I need to get home and to have some sleep after I cut this video. Okay, guys, bye.